Hey everyone, welcome to Hit or Miss, where we look at an old thing or a new thing that maybe had mixed reviews and we decide if it was a hit or a miss. I'm Josh and I'm joined as always by my co-host Alex. First of all, remember to leave a like. We're taking a look at Fox's 2005 Fantastic Four movie. Oh my god, this movie is like in your face 2005 at certain
So
points,
true.
like it's violent. Yeah, so I this is the first time we got a theatrical release for a Fantastic Four movie. There was an attempt in the 90s. The executive said it was never meant to release, but also the no one on the cast and crew knew that. Stan Lee apparently visited the set and was like, "You guys are doing great," and would go to Comic-Con and be like, "What a fucking piece of shit they're making over there. It's never going to see the light of day."
Seriously.
Yeah. It's highlighted more in the Doom documentary, the story of Roger Corman's Fantastic Four, if anyone's interested in that. But we ended up with this. Alex, what'd you think of this movie?
I think it was a hit. I enjoyed it. Well, I don't know what it was at the time. I was 3 years old,
Well,
but
yeah.
I I enjoyed it when I did watch it when I was younger, and now when I'm watching it for this episode.
Yeah, so you and I obviously grew up with these movies a little bit. Like this was kind of pre MCU. Like the Fox has been doing X-Men, so they felt confident and like, well, let's throw the Fantastic Four in here. Sony was knocking it out of the park with Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man franchise. So they tried to do this and it did not work the way those did.
Did it really not? Did it
No,
not
so this
go?
actually at the time got mixed reviews, but I enjoy it. I
Yeah,
thought it was pretty good.
I think maybe too. I'm watching it now after like a lot of superhero movie fatigue. Like in recent movies that's come out.
Yeah. We'll get into casting in a second. I want to talk about the story real quick. I think this had a really solid opening with Doom and all of his investors, and I did not remember this movie starting that way. This had been some years since I had seen this movie.
Yeah, but also it's like didn't 3 years previously with Spider-Man, Green Goblin,
Yes.
like you
Yeah.
can't do this to me.
You know how much I sacrificed?
And then they're
Yeah.
like, wait, that worked. Let's do the exact same thing.
Yeah. Kills a guy to hide some wacky science.
Yeah, and then just leaves as if they're not gonna like the police are gonna be like, I wonder who he had a meeting with. I mean, sorry, that's plot holes. But
Um,
like leaves a dead doctor on the ground, basically.
yeah. I think the space station scene where they get their powers is incredible and far superior to the whatever we got in the 2015 Fanforstic.
I think also like there was some, especially with Reed, there's some CGI. But I allow it because it was 2005, so I still enjoyed it.
Yeah, there's definitely some CGI for the time. I actually think they do the Human Torch pretty well.
Yeah, I thought so too.
The Invisible Woman, I guess it's pretty easy to do something when you can do it practically because you just don't have Jessica Alba there and everyone's like, whoa, what's brushing past me? But yeah, Reed is always like is this CGI gonna work or not? Because it's like the uncanny valley of it.
Yes. Yeah, Reed's CGI gave me like Jim Carrey's The Mask vibes.
Yes.
When he's like falling down the Baxter building or whatever.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay.
Obviously, they did Michael Chitlis's The Thing practically, which is something he actually pushed for as a fan of the character.
I thought the thing I liked I get that was practical effects.
Yes, this
Ben
is
Grimm.
actually Stan Lee's favorite depiction of the Thing on screen.
Oh, really?
Of the three we had for him.
I guess what you just said about the things he said about the 1990s movie. So
yeah, I also think this is the best Doctor Doom we've had on screen.
true, but like, what are you comparing it to, right?
The 1990s one and the 2015 one.
Yeah. So there, I think that like it's difficult. You can't say it's the best one we have on screen. That doesn't necessarily mean anything compared to the other depictions.
Well, admittedly, yeah. Well, I even think he's better in this than he is in the sequel to this movie.
Yeah. I mean, I think I think the movie was more about the Fantastic Four.
Yes.
He sort of existed to get the Fantastic Four together, both in the literal
Yes.
sense, like he sends up to the space station, but also like as a team, he's sort of like a MacGuffin, if you will, of like this is them learning their powers. It's more of a Fantastic Four as a group movie, and Doom just happens to be there to get that to happen, and they chose him as the villain because he's the classic villain for the Fantastic Four.
Hmm.
But as a maybe a bit of a shallow villain by himself.
I think you're right. Where he's like, "Oh, I need to assemble the team, give them something to punch." But this is like a lot of the Fantastic Four just doing like antics.
Yeah.
Like the bridge sequence, I think is very famous now because everything that happened on that bridge is their fault.
Yes. Also, the Invisible Woman simply did not need to strip naked and push to that crowd.
No.
Like, I don't know what that was. And then they just sort of like meet up at the front. So it's like the other,
Well, that's what's
Reed
more
and Johnny
baffling.
Storm could get through fine. So why she need to do all that? But
yeah. So they make her take her clothes off twice in this. Once when they need to get her from point A to point B in her underwear. And the second time, just seemingly like for fun, she's getting chased by paparazzi. And instead of like going into a building or something, she's like, oh, damn, I got to get naked again. I can't believe I'm doing this.
I can't believe I'm doing this again.
I know that Jessica Alba is not looked back upon fondly as being Sue Storm. And I know that she had a lot of struggles with the director.
she's felt a bit objectified in the movie. And
Highly, yes. But you know who is seen fondly is Chris Evans as the Human Torch.
I thought, I mean, yeah, also think that Reed was a really good depiction of Reed Richards. But yes, you're right. And I like the dynamic between Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm.
They play that so well. I know Michael Chiklis was a big fan of the Fantastic Four comics, and Chris Evans at the time was just really good at playing an asshole. I also think when they get their powers, Reed and Sue are whatever. Like he stretches and catches a bottle, so her hands turn invisible. The Thing feels almost like a horror sequence, like he's tossing and turning and he runs off into the woods and he emerges a rock monster.
Also, what's more messed up is his wife just leaving him. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh my god. They introduced his wife just for her to run away, just so they could set him up to be single. I felt bad for that guy, but I thought it was worth it to see him in a trench coat and a hat.
Absolutely, yes. The Human Torch, man, he's just flirting with a woman, catches fire, and then presumably has this crazy outdoor self-made jacuzzi sex. Like that whole scene with the snowboarding is the most 2005 thing ever put to screen. Yeah. I think it's one of those pop punk bands. I think it's Sum 41 is playing in the background.
Yeah, what I also thought was the most like 2000s film thing was all the super obvious product placement.
Yes.
There's a scene at the end of the movie when Johnny is like goes supernova or whatever. They're trying to kill Doom.
Mm-hmm.
And Reed Richards is like, Sue, can you control this? And then it cuts to her, and there's like a brisk lemonade truck that's fallen over just over her shoulder. So like half the frame is her like doing the force field stuff, and then half the frame is like brisk lemonade.
It's like in the original like Superman 2 from the 70s. There's a bit where he flies into a Marlboro Red truck. Yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. But was it a hit? No, would be the quick answer.
You mean like at the time, was it a hit?
At the time and still seen today. So at the time the film was released, it got mixed reviews due to a weak story, lack of depth, and the character casting was praised, bar Jessica Alba.
I think that if you're a fan of the Fantastic Four, it's a fun movie because there's a lot of Fantastic Four as a team character development, making them, from just a bunch of people who happen to be on the space station to the Fantastic Four. And then again, I don't know what they had in mind for the future movies, but with the Fantastic Four, you have to have 4 totally unique, developed characters who are all sort of the main character, and they all have their own character arc. And it's hard to do that and also put a villain in, so they just decided to just stick the villain in.
Yeah.
So I can see why maybe it was a miss at the time, but I think because I wanted to see the Fantastic Four develop, it was fine. Also, they just killed Doom at the end. Crazy. I just wanted to throw that in there. They encase him in metal, and then he's just survived some super hot flame, so presumably he is still alive.
He is, because he's like blinking and stuff at the end,
and then people are just standing around. Brisk lemonade truck is there, they're like, woo, yeah, and then he's just can't move, imprisoned. Hey man, that's the villain arc right there, is watching everyone cheer for your people who pissed you off.
Yeah.
And well, yeah, you're just encased in metal, still alive.
I do understand the weak story part, because outside of this, what do we really get? They're up on a space station. They get their powers. Thing loses his fiance. They do the bridge. They cause an incident and they get cheered for solving their own problems.
Yes.
I think there's like a motocross bit. Then all of a sudden the thing needs his powers gone. We take him away. He's immediately like, "Ah, shit, I need those back." And then we fight Doom. And it's over.
But presumably with enough power, they could just turn him back, you know?
Yeah,
now that they
right.
fought Doom and they won.
They did it once. They could just do it again.
You know, he doesn't really come to terms with being who he is. He's just like, oh, I guess I need to do this right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, I see what you're saying.
That is a good point. They could just do it again. Like they did it once.
Yeah.
They could just be like, all right, loop Chicago into the power grid. Like we're gonna turn this man back to normal. I don't know. It is kind of a weak story, but I think because we grew up with it, maybe we're like we got that nostalgia goggle.
Yeah,
or maybe we
maybe.
just know it is what it is. But what if I told you that this film grossed $333 million at the worldwide box office at the time on a budget of $100 million?
Adjusted for inflation, that's
some money.
$1 billion.
Yeah. They obviously got a sequel based on those numbers, which we got 2 years later. And this
Wait,
was...
how can it be a miss at the time, but it made that much money?
So it was critically a miss. And it could have made more money had it not been so like, this was like the first Fantastic Four depiction. So people went to see this, and obviously based on how the second movie performed, this did not continue. This was more of a like, oh my God, the Fantastic Four are finally on the big screen, but people weren't necessarily like thrilled about it. It's like the Phantom Menace made a shit pile of money, but people are like, oh, maybe that wasn't a
and
good
maybe they were
movie.
like, shit, we sort of used up Doom already just to get them together.
If people like this, maybe we'll come back and do the Silver Surfer in an episode or two, or Rise of the Silver Surfer. Hell, maybe we'll cover all the Fantastic Four movies at one point or another. But we both agree this was a hit for us.
I think this is a hit.
This was fun. Yeah, but let us know what you thought. Was this a hit or a miss? Let us know in the comments below. If you like this video and want more, then you could check out the podcast this is technically a part of, The Last Movie Run, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You can find the full audio of this as well as other stuff like our comic book podcast, Trading Paperback, or our short segments, the Hollywood Minutes. And we'll see y'all next time when we maybe do Rise of the Silver Surfer, or maybe something we'll actually enjoy. Wouldn't that be nice to cover a movie we actually think is good instead of like Fan Four Stick and Rise of the Silver Surfer? All right. We'll see you all next time.